So what we've got here is a beautiful little metal clay fine silver twig and a really pretty metal clay, let's get it to focus, a little birdhouse with a bird, and that's all textured, and I left it looking quite rustic, shall we say, because I'm going to put liver of sulphur on it and I want all the texture to stand out. So there's a little bird on his little perch, and so what the aim to do is to solder sterling silver jump rings onto fine silver clay birdhouse and twig. So what my idea was, that I've got this little pencil to try and move these so my hands don't get in the way. I want to get a jump ring on there, a jump ring on there. The idea to hold the chain from each side, and then obviously after measuring carefully where the centre of this twig is, I'd like to solder a jump ring in the middle and another jump ring onto the roof of the birdhouse. Now what I've done here is taken the bottom off a jump ring just with ordinary shears. I've just clipped the bottom off. Now what I'll do next with that is give it a good old sanding at the bottom so that it fits onto the roof of the birdhouse, so that those two jump rings there can be joined together with another jump ring and it will dangle. So what I've got to do is do all the other, to clip off the bottom of all the other jump rings as I've done that, and sand them so as they make a good tight fit onto my pieces basically. Now what I've got over here is a little leaf, and I can't make my mind up whether to dangle that also is metal clay. It was a little bit I had left over, and I had a leaf mould, and so I thought, oh well, I'll use it for that. Now I have got another jump ring here, and if I wanted to join that, what I would do is the same as these, take the bottom off, sand it, solder it onto the bottom of there, and then I would drill a hole in this so that I could join that with a jump ring straight through the hole onto there, and it would dangle off there. I've got to make a decision at some point. I just don't want that to be one step too far, shall we say. So what I think I might do is do all this preparation, is to take off the bottom of the jump rings, sand them, solder them on, and then take a look at it if I think that might make it too long or out of proportion, because the twig isn't that long. If I take these away, is that more in proportion? It possibly is actually. So anyway, I'll go off and do that. We'll have a think and decide what we're going to do with these, if anything. As I say, there's no point in using them to go that extra little bit too far. So I'll go off and do that, and then we'll come back. Right, I thought I'd bring you along with me, because there's a little bit of nervousness around about soldering onto silver clay. Personally, I've never had a problem. Fingers crossed my problem won't be today. But I've got it all set up. I've fluxed it. I've got 3 jump rings on here. I've done all the fluxing. I did all the sanding, did all the fluxing, and now I've put some tiny little pallions of silver, hard, not silver, hard solder onto all the joints. So now we're just going to go in as normal, go in gently at first so that it all bubbles up and everything sticks into place. So let's see how we get on. Heat up the whole of the larger piece as normal, because don't concentrate on the jump rings or else they'll end up just melting and turning into little balls, which isn't the theme we're looking for really. So we'll get this central piece hot first, and then we'll concentrate on the little jump rings. So just as you would solder anything normally, that's all we're doing. I'm on a charcoal. I have actually turned my charcoal block over because it's quite worn on the other side, and I wanted it to be level so that I could set everything in place and not have to touch it. So at least I know it's all being soldered in the same place. There's no variation in the level that it's sitting on. So let's see, we must be getting there nearly. Yep, that one's gone. Oh, yeah, that one's gone too. And that one's gone. Right. So let's have a look. Yep, there we are, all soldered on really nicely. Oh, there's the back of it. So yeah, there we go. I'm going to pickle it now. That one did rise up for some reason when it was heated, but once I've pickled it and it's cooled down, I'll be able to straighten that up with a pair of pliers. So I'm going to pop it in the, well, I'll quench it first, pop it in the pickle, and then I'll come back to you. Well, here it is, all soldered, all joined together. Let me just move that out of the way. See if I can hold it. Actually, it is better lying down for you, isn't it? And guess what? I decided that it was fine to put the leaf on. It looked perfectly balanced. But that's all soldered, polished. And now what I've got here is a Tatio paintbrush, and it's not liver of sulphur I use, it's platinol, and it's an oxidizing solution, but I don't soak it in the solution. I do put it on with a paintbrush because I think I can be a bit more selective as to where I put it, because for instance I don't want the whole of the inside to be black, because I'll never get it out and show the highlights basically, which is what I want to do on the but there it is anyway, on the body of the stuff. But there it is, all done, all soldered. Not too bad. So just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of soldering of metal clay. There's nothing to be frightened of at all. I just solder it the way I would solder normal silver. Maybe maybe that's just ignorance on my part, that I just muscle in and do it the same. But I don't have any problem with it. Never have. I've done it several times. So all I can say is just banish the fear. Have a go. What's the worst that can happen? So I'm going to put the platinol on it now, and I'll come back and I'll show you when it's all oxidized and polished up again. Okay. Well, I'm just popping in at this point because clearly you didn't have to be so eagle-eyed not to notice that one of those jump rings didn't solder on properly, the one onto the roof of the bird box. Okay, I didn't notice it until after I'd done the filming, because I was concentrating on making sure it was in shot, etc, etc. Now I could have scrapped that, resoldered it and added the new film, but that's not real life. So often things just don't go to plan in the workshop. So often things don't quite solder. If the world's against you on a particular day, sometimes you're better off just walking out of your workshop and getting on with something more productive, because sometimes you can spend hours and hours trying to get everything in place and right, and then other days everything will go to plan and everything will go perfectly. But on that one occasion, in particular, that one jump ring didn't solder. So I've left that piece of film in because it's real, it's what happened. So I'm going to go, I'm going to go off. I'm not going to go off, I've already done it. I've resoldered that jump ring onto the roof of the little bird house. So we'll move on from that, because these things do happen. Things don't always go to plan, and it wasn't a major thing. Just that if you noticed on originally when I did the twig, one of the jump rings actually popped up when I put the heat on. So exactly the same had happened, obviously, when I put the heat on that one jump ring. It had actually kicked out, and there wasn't a join for it to solder to. So all I've done is exactly the same as I did originally. I've got a good joint between the jump ring and the silver clay, put another little bit of solder on there, and heated it up again, and that was all it took. So back to as we were. Okay, I've got my paintbrush, I've got my platinol here. I just thought I'd show you just the start. I won't bore you with doing the whole thing. I've got a glove on simply because it stains my fingers. Oops! Do you know what that is? That's a shot out of the tumbler that was inside here. Oh well, it's all real life. So let me make sure that we've got that in shot for you. And here's my platinol, here's my paintbrush. So I'll start by doing the back, and you can see, because I want to be very specific where I put it and how much I put on. So let's hold this. As you can see, it's very effective. I'm not sure I'm going to do the back of the twig. I might come back and do that, but we'll see. Then we'll do down the side. Just making sure you can see me. What I don't want, what I'm trying not to do. Oh, there's another piece of shot. That's surprising. And another one. It's like a circus game, isn't it? Get all the shot out of the bird box. Right. So basically, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it everywhere that I wanted. Try not to put it on the bird, because I'd like the bird, because it's not textured, I'd like the bird actually to stay completely shiny, so that it's a nice contrast against the bird box. But I'll get on and finish that, and then we'll come back. I don't know if you can see that on the screen, but that is the most beautiful blue colour. Let me put that down. See if the light gets it. See if I can light it up a little bit. But it's a beautiful blue colour. I'm going to do the leaf, do the twig, and then we'll come back. And here we have the finished item. I do have to say, I couldn't be more delighted with it. if you see a red flash reflecting in it, I have a red phone and I'm taking this on my phone. But I'm absolutely delighted with that. I couldn't be more pleased. I'll turn it over and let you have a look. That's the back. It's all the liver of sulphur has made all the difference. It looks like a slightly battered little bird box, which is exactly what I was going for. But it's now on its chain, and that's what it looks like. I'll put it on actually and let you see what it looks like on the neckline. But for now, I'll wish you. I'll wish you good night, good morning, wherever you are in the world. I'll wish you cheerio, and I will try it on for you, but I do have to say I'm more than delighted with that. Well, it probably would look slightly more glamorous if I was wearing something other than a sweatshirt, but that's how it sits on the neckline. I hope you can see that all right. I'm delighted, absolutely delighted. And when I lean forward, it just dangles beautifully and falls right back into place. There we go. Couldn't be more delighted. Hope you like it too. Thank you ever so much for watching.